Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and we are back with more Formula E action. This time it's round 3 from 2015, possibly still 2014. I think it is still 2014. Still a long time ago. We have a few changes for this one. Jean-Eric Vergne jumps into the series for the first time. The future double champion is replacing cocaine-riddled Frank Montagny at Andretti. We have Salvador Duran in for Catherine Legg at Amlin Aguri, and sports car race driver Antonio Garcia is in for Ho Pin Tung at China Racing, Neo, whatever you want to call them. So the action this time is from Uruguay, the Punta del Este ePrix. I have fond memories of this track. I thought it was quite interesting that they're going to Uruguay, which doesn't necessarily have a rich history of motor racing, although they did have a few Formula 1 drivers in the 1950s. I think this race was good, so it's going to be interesting looking back. So with that, remember to subscribe and let's begin.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
Jean-Eric Vergne, he's jumped straight into that Andretti car and stuck it on pole position. A wonderful performance. He's also got the fan boost, so he is going to be looking very, very good for a win today, potentially. Nelson Piquet Jr. will be alongside him on the front row of the grid. Really impressive performance from the Brazilian. Third on the grid, Nico Prost, the man who qualified first for the first two races, now qualifies in third, but again, for the third time this season, out-qualifies Sebastian Buemi, many people's big shout for taking the championship. Jaime Alguersuari will start in 5th place for Virgin.
So Jean-Eric Vergne jumped straight in on pole, which is very, very impressive. And we again have good performances from the likes of Nico Prost out-qualifying Sebastian Buemi, and Alguersuari is in the top 5. So it's an interesting grid to start with.
Red lights on, and we go green in Uruguay, and it's a great start. Look at that from Nelson Piquet Jr. Is he into the lead of the race on the run down towards the first corner? Yes, he is. Piquet Jr. leads. Second for Jean-Eric Vergne. It's third for Sebastian Buemi. That inside line really was quicker. Is everyone going to make it safely through the start? Grassi almost pushed into the wall there, but everyone very well behaved at the start. But Nelson Piquet Jr. is into the lead of the race, getting past Jean-Eric Vergne. Michael Andretti was absolutely right, Dario.
Yeah, absolutely, and after everybody was well behaved there, give each other room. Now the madness might start, to be honest. It's so slippery out there, so easy to make a mistake and then get offline. But yeah, all through the first lap, saw Sam Bird making some moves down at the back there, trying to get up the field as early as possible. So
Sebastian Buemi has got past his Edam's teammate and up into 3rd place. So that's Piquet Jr., then Vergne, then Buemi, then Prost, then Alguersuari, and I think Nick Heidfeld might have got past Lucas de Grassi in that start as well, as the cars flash through this quick left-hander of turn 12, then into turn 13, through this chicane at 14 and 15.
Really the quick part of the track here, then breaking up for turn 17, it gets a little bit interesting because you're braking and turning at the same time. That's why we saw a lot of incidents this morning. You're slightly off the preferred racing line, you're going to get in trouble there, but everybody looks like they're making it safely through on that first lap.
So everyone survives the first lap. I think that's actually the first time we've seen that in this series. And Nelson Piquet got away from the start in the lead, so we're maybe finally seeing some of that championship winning potential that's been promised to us. And it's a very dusty track. They might have, swept up a bit before the race started. Looks a bit dodgy out there. I'm pretty sure an incident's going to happen fairly quickly.
Cerruti, and and that is a slowing. No, I thought that was a slowing Abt there for a moment, but it looks as though de Grassi's. No, it is. Daniel Abt is slowing, I think, and dropping down the order. We'll keep an eye on it, but it looks as though one of the Abt cars has run into problems. Yes, there we go. Daniel Abt is dropping down the order, and for the second race in a row, he's run into mechanical problems. He couldn't get off the line at the start, but now his question is, where does he stop that car? Can he make it back to the pits? But Nelson Piquet Jr. leads, half a second clear of Jean-Eric Vergne, and Heidfeld's using his fan boost in the middle of that pack to try and get past Alguersuari. Here he comes in the black and red car, up the inside, and he goes through a bit of a lock-up, just about gets it stopped.
Yeah, and then now it looks like the grass is all over the back of Alguersuari there.
So it took 2 laps, and it is only Daniel Abt breaking down, but something did happen. And we also saw a great overtaking move from Nick Heidfeld on Jaime Alguersuari into 5th. That brings De Grassi and Trulli right in behind Alguersuari, so he's in a bit of trouble. The only other thing that's gone on is apparently Bruno Senna overtook Michele Cerruti, which we didn't even see, so don't worry about that. And the sand is incredible. This is the dirtiest racetrack I've ever seen. I've seen cleaner rally stages than this track.
For a little bit and see, see how much power they're using, get settled in a bit, and we're going to see the battling when they're a bit more sure of what they've got available for the end of the race. But Jev looks like he's setting up PK quite nicely here.
So 78%, 77% in the middle there is the usable power remaining as we go into the brakes through the chicane, and he is right up behind Nelson Piquet now. And don't forget, Jean-Eric Vergne has the fan boost, so he could deploy that whenever he feels like it to give himself extra power for 5 seconds to try and get past Nelson Piquet Jr. on the exit of the hairpin. Oh, and out! That is. Here's a look at the replay then, coming into the first corner. And here comes Bird, all by himself.
Oh, again, the problem with these curbs, these sausage curbs, is exactly the thing. Yeah, he made a mistake, but when you hit the thing, you've got absolutely no steering. And
safety car is deployed.
So we have our first big casualty, and it's Sam Bird, one of the championship leaders. And it's those damn sausage curbs again. They keep popping up for some reason. It was a mistake all on his own. I think you can blame the dirty track probably, but it looked like he locked up as well. But that must really hurt his championship challenge, although he wasn't really featuring anyway because he was down in 19th. Other than that, not a lot is going on. We had a battle at the front between Piquet and Vergne. Looked like it was going to start heating up before this accident happened. And now we have a safety car.
Off, and it's all kicking off here as Lucas Di Grassi attacks Jaime Alguersuari around the outside. Not quite close enough to do it. Cool, that was close, wasn't it? Because the Amlin car of Antonio Felix da Costa have pulled off. But we're on board with our second place man, Jean-Eric Vergne.
Let's see here if he's going to have a move into the far end there, turn 8. Defensive by Piquet.
Yep, covers the inside line. Oh, a little bit of a nudge.
A little tap there just to wake him up.
So we only had a few laps under the safety car, and on the restart, Lucas Di Grassi got so close to Antonio Felix da Costa's parked Amlin Aguri. Like, how he didn't plough into the back of him is a miracle. The battle at the front is still really close. In fact, they've touched it a couple of times. Vergne still can't get past Piquet, but given how it's going, I'm expecting fireworks very soon.
Okay, so they're working on it. They appear to have a problem at Andretti with using the fan boost, and the safety car has been deployed again.
Safety car.
So even though Antonio Felix da Costa's car had already been out there for 2 laps, they're now calling a safety car. So that's fine, that's all sorted. And it looks like Jean-Eric Vergne has an issue with his fan boost. Don't know how much that hinders him. Don't know if he gets a penalty if he doesn't use it. So still not getting a lot of interesting things happening in this race. But the battling at the front is close. Buemi was just about to join in. It's tight.
The fight will start, absolutely. Did you see Chandok there got a little bit sideways right in the middle of that chicane? If you overcommit with one of these cars, with all that weight in the back of the car, it gets pretty eventful, and we'll see that I think more towards the end as well when they start trying to push harder and harder through these chicanes.
Energy level.
Yeah, we'll look out.
And oh, look at that, Sarrazin going through.
6-9.
And that's allowing Matty Brabham to come through. We're hearing Jean-Eric Vergne on the team radio telling his energy level. Oh, that's rude on Matty Brabham.
Is that Sarrazin?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And that allows Oriol Servia up the inside to take 10th position away from Matty Brabham, the final point scoring position.
So, still no changes at the front, but we see a great move from Stefan Sarrazin and a very tough defence against Matty Brabham. And again, just look at the dirt that's kicked up on that side of the track. They're literally driving on a beach. It was a very, very tough defence though, and I'm not sure if he'll get away with it.
Sort of 5 or 6% less usable energy. And look at that, Jean-Eric Vergne is through into the lead of the race. It must have been down at the hairpin that Vergne made the pass. Nelson Piquet Jr. drops to second place.
23%. Yeah, these guys they're not messing around, are they? No. They're using that energy up, and you're going to have to go. You're going to have to pay for it at some point. You've only got so much energy to use.
And just as I complain that there's not a lot of action at the front, Jean-Eric Vergne gets past Nelson Piquet. It's a shame they didn't show us how.
Safety car.
Across the line then comes Verne, and they're lapping Karun Chandok. So Chandok's are into trouble. Here's the battle for second place. Massive lock-up from Buemi. Is he going to get that stopped in time? No, he has to go across the runoff. So does Nelson Piquet Jr. So I think that's fair now.
Well, can you say commitment?
Well, that was messy.
Piquet Jr. is behind both the Edams cars now, and Sarrazin finally gets past Jarno Trulli. Sarrazin up into 8th place. Race leader in the pits. Jean-Eric Verne is in the pits now. Meanwhile, Jarno Trulli is getting a little bit angry with Stefan Sarrazin, who is looking feisty out there today.
Sarrazin just keeps driving people at the wall. It's not really on, is it? I mean, we saw Trulli drive one of the guys out last week. Here's the pit stop.
So Jean-Eric Verne in.
This is his first one of these pit stops under pressure here. First time he's ever done it, so easier to make a mistake.
And now Matty Brabham has got past Jarno Trulli as well, and is up into what will be essentially 9th position, I think.
So we're now seeing the leaders start to pit. Jean-Eric Verne is in. Stefan Sarrazin has made another crazy move on Jarno Trulli. Got through this time. Looked like a really good overtake, and again tried to drive him into the wall. That is a strange strategy from Stefan Sarrazin, but he is probably having the race of his life. Matty Brabham also got past Jarno Trulli, so you know, maybe it wasn't that hard to overtake him. And now the pit stops are happening, so we might get some changes on the field. We haven't really seen too many overtakes, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Usable power remaining, and there is a minimum. Oh, and off goes Sarrazin! Off goes Sarrazin into the wall. It looked as though it might have been Jarno Trulli that he was battling with. Those two had fallen out a couple of laps ago.
He might have got some help there.
And now, surely everyone's going to dive into the pits if they know what's good for them, because presumably the safety car will come out. Here we go. Oh, it's Matty Brabham, but he's ended up on the curbs himself, hasn't he?
Well, it looks like Sarrazin missed the corner, had to slow down to avoid doing what Sam Bird did earlier, and Matty Brabham's just helped him and finish it, but it looked like Verne...
Oh, here we go.
It looks like Sarrazin...
He just got out of shape.
He's already in trouble, the car was already broken. So, yeah, he was being very, very aggressive in the defence, wasn't he?
Oh, and look at that, the wall getting hit as well. Was that Bruno Senna clouting the wall?
Yep.
So, Bruno Senna could be in trouble too. Sarrazin is out of the race.
And there ends Stefan Sarrazin's charge. That's actually a really big shame. It looked like he did it all on his own, but there may have been contact with Matty Brabham. Honestly, I couldn't tell. But it looked like it was those damn curbs again. Someone should really do something about those sausage curbs before something important happens.
Underway here in Uruguay. Nick Heidfeld leads, but he is going to be given a penalty, we believe, for using too much of his available power. Meanwhile, his pit stop is still being investigated.
So yeah, there were big changes after the pit stop. Did not expect Nick Heidfeld to be out leading the race, but his pit stop is being investigated. Behind him is Buemi, who has got ahead of Verne. I think the safety car did play into that. And Bruno Senna, I think I forgot to show it, but he hit the wall to avoid Sarrazin's accident and managed to crawl back to the pits and change cars. So he is very, very lucky that it was the right time to pit anyway. It's going to be interesting to see how the racing picks up in the last 12 laps of this race, because I'm still not sure who's going to win this one.
Race, that's Nico Prost. Nico Prost has just been given a drive-through penalty for using too much power and using more. They have a limit of how much power you're allowed to use.
150 kilowatts, isn't it?
Absolutely, at any one time. So,
you know what I was saying about Formula E having very complicated rules at the start, and there was a lot of penalties, and then we didn't really see any in the first two races. Well, now you got 2 for 1. So Heidfeld has had to have a drive-through because his pit stop was too short. It has to be over 100 seconds or something. And now Nico Prost has also got a drive-through because he used too much power at a certain point for something. So there's 2 of your front runners just gone from the race, really. And Buemi has quite a big lead over Verne. So any excitement that was bound to happen is probably dissipated because of penalties.
Grassi is now less than a second behind Nelson Piquet Jr. But Piquet Jr. has been told, you've got to get on it, mate, because you're getting closed in on. Jean-Eric Verne is only 0.8 of a second behind Sebastian Buemi now, and is 0.6 of a second a lap quicker, and has gone fastest of anyone in the first sector. So the battle for the lead is kicking off here in Uruguay in Punta del Este. We go on board with Jaime Alguersuari in 7th place. Goodness me, it's a bit action-packed, this, isn't it? It's all happening.
Hey, we're getting something of a Trulli train. I mean, it's only 4 cars, but it's still a Trulli train. I don't know, we've had a couple more penalties. Jerome D'Ambrosio's had to have a drive-through for, I think, the same thing as Heidfeld. Too short a pit stop, something like that. And Michele Cerruti, I think, was speeding in the pit lane, which is, you know, fair enough. Other than that, not much is going on, although Jean-Eric Vergne is catching Sebastian Buemi at the front. So we may get a battle towards the end of this race. There's only like 5 laps left.
Can I phone a friend? It was never my strong point.
That's why you're in the commentary box and not on the Andretti pit wall, probably.
Aye, that's probably right.
So 5 laps to go, and this is the first and second place battle. Oh, and that's Matty Brabham. That's Matty Brabham. He's got his heads in his hands, his thumbs up saying I'm okay, but he can't believe what has happened because he was having a superb race right behind Jarno Trulli for 5th position, and now he's out.
Hopefully they can clean this wreck up here. Look, you can see the marks. Hopefully they clean this wreck up so we can get going again here.
Yeah, safety car has been deployed with. And here's what happens to Matty Brabham. Oh, he's lost it on the way in, and this is going to hurt.
Just overcommitted. The wheel's already broken. Look,
wasn't that big enough?
but it's already broken that hitting the curb, which is the same thing that happened to Sarazan with these sausage curbs. Saying that was a fair front impact.
Yeah. And look at that. It's immediate reaction. What has happened here? Here's going to be the angle from Jaime Alguersuari. Now Alguersuari must have done a good job to avoid this, actually.
Yeah, just frustration, I think. We're stuck behind Trulli. Oh yeah. It's locked to rears. Did you see this? Got it oversteering just a little bit on the way in.
Oh no, Matty Brabham. He was doing so well in this race, and this will be his last Formula E race ever so far. He was running 6th behind Trulli, doing a really, really good job. This is a guy who will be a multiple-time Stadium Super Truck champion in the future. I think he's leading the championship in 2021. Formula E did not work out for him, and this was a mistake. He got loose, went over the sausage curbs, who claimed their 3rd victim in this race, I think, hit the wall. Such a huge shame because he was having such a good race. I can't believe it. This happened 7 years ago, and I'm disappointed.
Later.
Yeah.
Well, oh, and Buemi's out of shape. Does he keep that on the circuit? Coming through the first corner. Where's Buemi? Did he cut the corner?
Did he shortcut? Doubtful.
We'll have to wait and see. And look at that. Jean-Eric Vergne knows that Buemi's rattled.
Down
they come.
Up here.
Towards the second chicane. And Buemi's going again. He must have some sort of brake problem or regen issues.
Surely he's got to give that place back. Surely he's got to do that. You can't just sort of straight line it.
Well, through the hairpin they come. We're still open to...
They need to make a quick decision here because we don't want the result in doubt after the checker, do we?
And that was Jean-Eric Vergne. We just heard there complaining that Buemi's cutting the chicane. And, well, he might complain. Nelson Piquet Jr. is there.
Got a problem.
Oh, slowing down. And Jean-Eric Vergne. Jean-Eric Vergne is slowing, and he is not going to finish this race, which surely means Buemi's going to take victory. He'll crawl back into the pit lane.
How cruel is that?
What a crazy end to this race. So Buemi gets out of shape a couple of times. It looks like he's cutting chicanes. Vergne is arguing on the radio, but all of a sudden he just breaks down and he's out of the race. And there's only a lap and a half left. This is the kind of crazy shit that happens in Formula E races.
Through turns 10 and 11 comes Buemi. Piquet Jr. is following him. De Grassi's not far behind, but none of them are going to be close enough to make a move, I don't think. Trulli's the only man under real pressure in that 4th position at the moment, and there is the car of Jean-Eric Vergne parked off at the side of the road, and the EDAMS team are itching to celebrate, but they can't do it just yet. A couple more corners to go.
No, they don't want to do that. They don't want to jinx it.
Down into the final corner. Look at that. Piquet's been very quick in these closing stages. Heidfeld's using his fan boost further back in the pack. That'll be to try and get past Garcia. But through the final corner comes Sebastian Buemi. He's got Nelson Piquet Jr. right up behind him. But it's victory for Sebastian Buemi and EDAMS in the 3rd round of Formula E.
Finally, Buemi has fulfilled his potential in Formula E.
So Buemi wins in Punta del Este, or Este, as I think I heard someone pronounce it. He won from Piquet, De Grassi, Trulli, who had a great race, Alguersuari, Senna, Prost, D'Ambrosio, Servia and Heidfeld, who fell out the points. It was an interesting race. A lot of things happened. There were lots of penalties, a couple of crashes, a lot of safety cars. There just wasn't a lot of on-track overtaking. There was some good battling, but apart from Sarazan's couple of really good overtakes from him. We saw Trilly make a pass or two, I think, and there's a couple of lead swaps. I think Vern got past PK at some point, didn't he? Other than that, there wasn't a huge amount of overtaking. Most places seem to be gained by other people getting penalties. So this race maybe highlights some of the negatives of Formula E. It highlights some of the positives as well, such as the unpredictability. How it looked like Vern could have won that race until the last moment when he broke down. That's what you get from Formula E. It's just, honestly, it keeps you guessing the whole time. And this was a pretty good race, so I'm looking forward to the next one. But for now, let's look at the championship standings. So it's Lucas Di Grassi who leads the way with 58 points, but Sebastian Buemi and Sam Bird are just behind him on 40, even though Sam Bird didn't score at this race. Nico Prost and Nelson Piquet Jr. fill out the top 5. In the team standings, we have Renault Edams in front, but only just ahead of Audi, with Virgin not far behind, and Dragon and Andretti are filling out the top 5 there. Okay, so make sure you subscribe. We're nearly at 500 now, so the next episode of this, when we'll look at the 4th race, which I think was in Hong Kong, I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll do it at some point soon, so yeah, definitely subscribe. Also leave a comment, like and share the video. Thank you for watching and have a good one.